We're going to try something a little different here. This is a card pull for the upcoming new moon in Aquarius happening on January 29th around 4:36 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The new moon is when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the same sign. And so the moon comes in between the light of the sun and the earth, and so the moon is dark. And it represents newness, new beginnings, a seeding of consciousness perhaps. And the sun is in Aquarius, the moon is in Aquarius. The sun represents the consciousness, will, drive, spirit, and the moon is about the body, the material plane, the emotions. There's these opposites happening together. The two become one, kind of a thing. Aquarius represents idealism, forward, future thinking, innovation. There's a humanitarian nature, compassion, sees a better future for humanity, and is very much about community, visionary ideas. And then there can also be some detachment, kind of being a little bit separate from things. This new moon is also trining Jupiter and Gemini, and Jupiter does not necessarily like to be in Gemini. So even though Jupiter is a benefic, it is a trine, which is a positive flow of energy. So there's something there that feels like an imbalance of, and I want to say ideas or something of the mind. There's something in the middle here with the sensitivity to perhaps one's own thoughts being a precursor to emotions or feelings. And so kind of keeping those in check seems really important. Also of note is that Jupiter is retrograding right now, and it's retrograding toward the sun and the moon. Retrograde can mean that it's more of an internal process, and since we're talking about the mind and thoughts and perspective, it could be an excess of thought, maybe exaggerations or black and white thinking, like not being able to see the middle ground, like over idealizing things, or getting so many downloads and so much inspiration that there's just like a shutdown. There's an overwhelm of ideas. Or maybe it's a lot of ideas coming through that could potentially solve a huge problem for the community, for example. So I have two decks here just to look at some energies in a different way. So we're going to pull the energy oracle for the sun and the Rumi oracle for the moon, and just see what we come up with here. So for the energy oracle, I'm just going to do a quick shuffle here, see what pops out. Thinking about the sun in Aquarius, 9 degrees Aquarius, just seeing what information we have here. We got 52, Goddess of the Moon, interesting, okay. So that's the card for the sun. Very interesting, because that's the sun card, but it's Goddess of the Moon. So let's see what this says. So Goddess of the Moon, intuition, going within. Upright, this card shows an eternal spirit holding the bright reflective moon, and standing in front of the crystal clear waters of a sparkling waterfall. Her arms are stretched upward, receiving the light of the moon, the light of inspiration. This card is all about intuition, the ability to receive insights from your soul's point of view. Receiving the card upright tells you that you have the power to get intuitive information on all types of issues, and now is the time to use it. I'm just going to read that again. Receiving the card upright tells you that you have the power to get intuitive information on all types of issues, and now is the time to use it. The goddess of the moon brings you all sorts of information from the mundane to the spectacular. For instance, you could get the urge to take a different route home from work and find out later that you've avoided a 3-hour traffic jam. Or you might have an idea for a great invention, a stock investment, or a spellbinding novel. This card could also indicate a significant blossoming of psychic ability and mediumship, even on a professional level. You're always blessed with this ability to connect, but this card is telling you that now is the perfect time to open up. Get ready for the amazing inspiration this brings. In the affirmation, I have a strong intuitive voice. I freely receive guidance, and I understand and trust the messages I receive. So that's the goddess of the moon. And it does feel like because they're connected together, the sun and the moon, that maybe this is just saying that there's an infusion of the energy coming together. Okay, now for the moon card, I'm going to pull from the Rumi Oracle. Just do a quick shuffle here and see what card comes out. It's to be seen. I'm going to choose this one. Blessings of Zahra. Blessing of Zahra. Let's see what that has to say. Blessing of Zahra. Let go of thought. Don't take it into your heart. You are naked, and thought is like ice. You use thought to seek release from suffering and pain, while thought is the cause of your suffering and pain. The realm of creation is outside the scope of thought. O foolish ones, see the opus and behold the beauty. Look in the direction from which the images flow. See the brook that causes the wheel to turn. Rumi. This is so interesting because this card it's talking about food. It's saying when we are hungry, we reach for what food is available. If we are starving, we may gorge upon what is before us, only to find ourselves overfed, undernourished, and in a most uncomfortable and dissatisfied state. This balancing of energies, it's like we need food, but we don't want too little of it, or we're starved and we don't want too much of it because then we're overfed, right? There's like a balance between oversensitivity and undersensitivity, overfeeding, underfeeding, overthinking, underthinking, like not thinking at all. So yeah, that just seems to be the message coming through. I mean, from this Rumi Oracle card, the poem is saying to let go of the thought, and the aspects happening in the air signs, which are intellectual and thought-based signs, right? And so the thought needs to be let go of, like not to be attached to the thought. Just step outside and to see the thoughts as what they are. They are thoughts. They are not true or false. They're not reality. They're part of our living everyday existence, but they're not necessarily truth. And then the goddess of the moon card is about receiving intuitive insights. So there's definitely an importance of those intuitive insights as thoughts, potentially. Maybe these are thoughts or innovations that can help the collective. The thoughts are like a food as well. And so here it's saying your soul needs better quality food. It has been detoxing. You have been shedding old thoughts, feelings, pains, and struggles. Memories of the past have been flooding out of your soul like parasites being expunged. And now your soul, thus cleansed, is in need of genuine nourishment to restore it to full radiance and vitality. There's an importance of balancing perspective. One way of doing that could be as in a meditative practice where you watch the thoughts flow by on a river or a cloud. It's like you notice the thought arise and then you allow it to float by. Next thought arise, float by. And sort of in that way to allow the thoughts to be there and yet not attach to them might be supportive. And also having that space from the thoughts and not identifying with thoughts, I feel could also be a pathway to allow the intuition to come in clearer. Hopefully all of that or something in there is helpful to you, and wishing you a beautiful new moon in Aquarius. And if you're interested in exploring sort of those opposites energies, there is a meditation exploring heavy and light that might be supportive for this as well, just to separate out the different sensations and balancing the extremes through awareness.